All right. Hey, Doc.
Hey,
We're
how are you?
alive. How are you?
I'm
Oh,
doing wonderfully. How are you?
we're all
Doing
we're
terrific.
terrific. We're super excited to have you here. Hey, everybody! You know me, Dr. Cheryl Bryant Bruce, MD, and we are here with Chatters That Matters. Let's talk about it. As always, we have an exciting guest for you. This show is here to educate, inform, and entertain you. And I always tell you we have an exciting guest, but this one is extra exciting. We have a celebrity guest here, and you all probably recognize her face, but this is Dr. Heavenly Kimes from Married to Medicine. I had to focus on that, Heavenly, because I kept wanting to say married with children. So I had to
Well,
focus
not
on
with with children. I am that, so you wouldn't be wrong.
there you go. So, Married to Medicine, Dr. Heavenly Kimes, super dentist, actor, entertainer. Heavenly, I cannot do you justice, so I'm going to let you do your own introduction because your background is exciting. So, Dr. Heavenly Kimes, you are on. Welcome, welcome. We're so glad to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, I'm just heavenly. I'm child of God. I'm a wife. I'm a mother, and I'm a dentist. And I love life, and I love being a part of the world. And people know me through Married to Medicine, but I think I'm so much more than that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about who Dr. Heavenly is outside of Married to Medicine.
Well, honestly, you may be surprised. I'm actually a homebody. I like to stay home, take care of my family. I like to sit out in my backyard. I'm not the social person that's just like the socialite that's at the party. I do go to events to support my sisters now. I do that, but I'm a homebody. I like being home. I mean, honestly, without TV, I would be home in my backyard cooking up something and just taking care of my man.
Right, right. Cool. Excellent. And for those who do not know, Dr. Heavenly is actually in the ATL Hotlanta, and that is where her show shoots from. Tell us a little bit about the show,
Well,
Married to Medicine. And you are indeed married to medicine, right?
absolutely. I mean, some people are not, but I am. I'm actually medicine and married to medicine. I met my husband in dental school. He was actually in the medical school. Married to Medicine is actually a show centered around doctors and doctors' wives.
Mhm.
I think it's a great depiction of the African American family. I think that we as professionals think that there are a lot of us, but actually there's only 3% of the population that have doctor's degrees. You know that, doctor.
Mhm.
And I think that showing on TV, I mean, of course, we have to have the drama and stuff like that to stay on
Right.
TV. But it's a beautiful concept where you can see families and the issues they go through and how they get through those issues, and just showing a little girl of hope. They could say, hey, if Dr. Heavenly from the inner cities of Miami can grow up and become a doctor and get married and have children, hell, anybody could do it. So I think we're a inspiration to a lot of people, just like yourself, Dr. Cheryl.
Thank you, thank you. And that's the truth of it, especially in the African American community, and in the non-Black community, it isn't uncommon for there to be an entire lineage of people in medicine. There my grandfather was a doctor, my great grandfather was a doctor. We have doctors 100 lines back. That is not common in the Black community. I don't know about you, but for myself, I was a first generation college graduate, first generation professional, and that is more often our story than not. But that doesn't mean that we haven't been doing it for a very long time.
I agree with that. And a lot of times have changed.
Yes.
So my parents were not doctors, and initially I was encouraging my kids to become physicians, or dentists, attorneys. But
Mhm.
now I'm seeing so many different ways to make money. You're almost behind when you go to medical school. You're almost behind the track when you don't have the
Very.
foundation. i.e. Dr. Heavenly
Say
University.
that again for the back of the room, because people think, oh, well, you are a doctor, you've arrived, you've got money. Say it again for the back of the room, girl.
And sometimes going to medical school is not the only way. In fact, sometimes we find ourselves behind others that get that financial education early. And like you were saying, some families, non-Black, have the lineage of doctors, physicians. They also have the lineage of financial knowledge and getting trust and protecting their assets and how to do it and how to get it. And they also have people that they can get money from. It's not
Yes.
unheard of. Our first generations buying houses and their parents giving them the down payment. So they're automatically 10, 15 years ahead of us. And
Right.
that's what we're trying to change, Dr. Cheryl, to change the lineage. I mean, we can't, I think that my parents did the best that they could do at the time. But now that we know better, we're going to do better. And I think that's
Absolutely.
all of us.
And that's you said a key thing there, talking about that lineage and that investment into the future. Our parents did the best that they could, but a lot of our parents didn't have that investment background. We didn't actually have the resources, because even if you understood the background, a lot of times you couldn't even get the investments into the bank. And if you wanted to, buy property, you couldn't get the property to buy. Now, I was listening to a song, and I think it was Too Short was saying, we don't have a studio, we have a compound. We're making those big moves now. We're buying our properties. Medea, what's Medea's name? um, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry has that beautiful big compound there in Atlanta that used to be the military base. So that is just like awesome. We have our own filming studios and everything. I am currently right now in one of those studios, and I'm so happy to be here. As you can see, we've got the nice professional look going on. It's working for me.
Definitely a great wealth transfer happening
Yeah.
and about to happen. And I think that a lot of us are called. I think God is setting up his soldiers to educate one another. And I think that's one of my callings. I feel like, yes, we are behind, but we're quickly catching up.
We
Now
are quickly catching up.
we're creating our own avenues. We're buying our own banks. We're becoming our own banks, and we're learning from each other. And I think it's an obligation for us to not only put out, with reality TV negativity, but actually use that platform for something good. And actually, once you get their attention, now shake them and give them some knowledge at the same time.
Yes, yes. And I mean, it's significantly important that we do the reach back and, pull them up, and not just pull one up, pull a bunch up, because we are behind the power curve. So we do have to pull them up, and we do have to make it count. And we are climbing fast, and having shows on like Married to Medicine helps that, because people are able to see us in a professional light doing things. You have your beautiful background. People are able to say, I can have that too. I
And it
can
ain't
do that too.
right. Right. I think one of the main things is we look at doctors or physicians or dentists, attorneys, and think that they're on a pedestal, which they are not. One thing that we learn, and we're going to grow exponentially once we get this financial knowledge out there, is that we can use debt, good debt, to catapult us to the next level, because we can't work for the money. If I can borrow $1 million, now I'm ready, and
Yes,
you can't. We have credit repair specialists. We got the people that own their own banks, because it was a time where you could have the same credit score, the same job, and not get the loan because of the color of your skin. But now times are changing, because our own banks, and we're actually getting more knowledge. When they created these computers and this internet, they messed up the thing, because now we know better and we're going to do better.
right,
You can't
right.
always look at the media on what's going on, but you have to get the knowledge from people you know and trust. And that's what Dr. Headley University is. I'm telling you, we coming in and we giving powerful information on business, money, finances, on how to save your money, not just to get it, but to keep it. And a lot of people tell me, is money everything? Absolutely not, but it gets you the freedom. And when they come to
That's
me and they
right.
everything, if your child gets sick, is it not everything? Because I know for a fact, my husband worked in the ER. They are treating you differently if you don't have the income to get your health care done the right way. They're treating you differently. You know, if you can't get the money together to do certain things, that does not just go on with your houses and your cars. It actually goes on with healthcare as well. So is money everything? If you want to live, you
Okay,
might.
well, let me interject there. You know, they are treating us differently, and you think, oh well, you know, because I just rolled up out of the hood and I don't have money, you know, they're going to treat me such and such a way. But they make an assumption about us, and I had the misfortune of being very sick the past summer and having to go into one of the major hospital players to get treated. And, you know, I came in with a specialist behind me saying this is going to be a direct admission. And do you know that before the end of the night, they turned me away? They sent me out and said, you're going to be just fine. The next morning, I ended up admitted for 2 whole weeks to another hospital.
And
We have to become empowered. We have to have that money behind us so that those kinds of things don't happen. I'm a doctor with a medical education behind me, so I was able to kind of steer that. But how often do we get sent home when we shouldn't be just because of the color of our skin, and then we drop dead? How many of our brothers and sisters have we lost when they actually went into medical care?
so that's important to put the knowledge out there. But not only
Mhm.
that, we talked about education, but also it's very important to get that education so we keep some doctors in the medical
That's
facility.
right.
Because friend Dr. Jackie, the reason she works so hard is, I don't know if it's okay to say this, because she knows that we are treated differently. And she comes in there to make sure that we get the medical care. A lot of times as a Black female, when we're pregnant, they'll throw us off like, okay, we're having pain, we're just pregnant. And we're the number one people of our pregnancies not going full term and losing our babies. So it's definitely a need in all aspects of it, of getting the financial education, but keeping those doctors there as well.
The other place that we are treated differently is when we do go into medicine. When we do go into medical school, they will tell us, oh, you need to go into primary care. You know, primary care is the lowest paying thing on the totem pole, and you all need to go into primary care, and you need to go back into the hood and take care of your people. Well, yes, we do need to go back and take care of our people, but primary care is not the be all and end all. Our people need specialists too. You know, we need cardiologists, we need cardiothoracic surgeons, you know, we need dentists, we need eye doctors, we need all of that. And yet they direct us into primary care, and then they send that big money out to their own. We have to refer to them.
Absolutely.
So we have to
Get
get
the
into
knowledge.
all of those areas.
Put the knowledge out there and keep talking about it. A lot
Yeah.
of times we're down for talking or speaking too much, but that's where that personality comes in, when you can't be afraid to speak. If you got God backing you, who can be against you? So we're going to
So
and continue to let the people know and
Amen.
educate them on what's going on. Because quickly, if you don't own your own, they quickly tell you to be quiet. You can't say
right.
certain jobs, but I own my own business, so I'm going to tell you what other people cannot say. And we have to educate ourselves, and we have to learn how to maneuver ourselves through the system a little bit better as well. But yes, there's definite racist or economic, social economic status things that happen that keep us from living. And I do think that, like you say, financial education is very much a part of it, because we can live in the better areas, get the better food, because it comes with prevention. Us also, honestly, so we're not in
Right.
the eating, so much
Right.
medical.
Exactly. And then therein comes the need for that money. I mean, kind of in our communities, we've been taught and groomed to think that money is a horrible thing. Money is the root of all evil. And yet we have to have money to live, to thrive, to grow, to excel, and to move forward.
Knock you down for talking about money. Say Dr. Heavily, money isn't everything. Money, no, they want the money. They don't want you to have anything. And also, Dr. Cheryl, I'm gonna interject right quick. Did you know that big money people like the Rockefellers had endowments for certain schools, some African American schools as well, where they controlled the curriculum, and they were very open and honest in saying that we want a nation of workers. We do not want a nation of thinkers. So they tried to
Mhm.
keep us. Even if you look at the school bus and the cafeterias and all that, all it is a prison system to lock your mind up and for you not to think, so they can continue to grow money exponentially. You know, if you understand the power of compound interest, that right there shows you everything.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to make money so you can take care of your family and your children's children.
Absolutely. One of those little facts that people don't really talk about is that our Black male children are usually lost by the second grade. And these are young Black boys who have an incredible mind and who have an incredible hunger for knowledge. But by the second grade, that has been squashed out of them. And what has been put in instead is that you are bad. You aren't going to be anything. You aren't going to amount to anything. So it's on us to give those boys their dreams, to tell them that their dreams can be realities and that their dreams can be more than just, I'm going to be a rapper, or I'm going to be a basketball star, or, I'm going to be in the NBA. There is so much more possibility out there.
But showing them as well. Because
Yes.
I know a lot of times, a lot of people ridicule you for spending money on private school. And private school is important. I think you do get a better level of education. But we as parents, we got to take over. Like you said,
You have to take over.
We got to show our kids, we got to tell them over and over again that they can do anything and prove it to them. And then they can live a different life. Like you say, you are what you are. You're a victim of your circumstances. So as parents, we have an obligation to make sure our kids are taken care of.
Right. And then we got to put some responsibility on those kids too, because our parents can give to us, but there are no handouts for these kids. And, they cannot be entitled. They cannot feel like they're privileged, particularly for children like ours, where, we have been able to maybe give them a little bit of a better level of existence. They can't feel like, okay, well, that's just my entitlement and I don't have to do anything. No, baby, you got to work for it. You have to get your education, because they can take all of the money from us. They can do that. They cannot take the education from us. And as long as we have the education, we can make that money back.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-22, because we want to catapult our kids and give them the down payments, but within can't give them too much, because they actually become, spoiled. Like this little girl right here. Right here. So we're doing the best we can. Try to help our kids as much as we can, Dr. Cheryl. And it's a great thing that has been bestowed upon us, because we don't know what to do. We try to do better than our parents and help our kids a bit more, but now we helping them too much and they tails getting lazy. So just got to keep praying and asking God the direction to get these kids in the right place. But the main thing is having the knowledge, so we can actually instill the knowledge into our children. That's all we can do.
Yes. And having, that's on us to get the knowledge. And I don't care what your situation is. Well, I didn't graduate from high school, so I can't help my child. Yes, you can. And boo-boo, maybe you need to go back and get that GED. Maybe you need to show your child that you can continue to grow.
For saying that, I agree with you 1000%, but I talk to people and they have the mindset that the world owes them something. And when I go on a blog and say that the world don't care nothing about you, boo, you got to go out there and get it yourself, I get clowned. So it's definitely a different level of thinking. And I think that with you think a little bit differently, but I'm telling you, the world don't think like we do. We outnumbered, Cheryl. I'm telling you.
That's right. And you have to elevate. You have to elevate. You have to elevate. And you cannot take that victim mentality. Maybe you are a victim, but that doesn't mean you have to, maybe you've been victimized, but you don't have to be a victim. You can choose to thrive. And what they say, let your haters be your motivators. I, for one, was told when I was in college, Alice Hom, I'm gonna yell your name out there, Alice Hom. Alice Hom was my advisor.
Oh, say her name.
Alice Hom, hear me, girl. Alice Hom was my advisor, and she said, "Oh, you'll never be a doctor. You should go and be a nurse. You should do something different." And there is nothing wrong with nurses, because that is a super profession. That's how I work, And I depend on my nurses. It's like, help keep me straight, because the nurses are the first interface with those patients. They're the ones that are with the patients.
Trying to take
Yeah,
your drink. Alice Hobbs. What's her name? What's her name again?
Alice Hom. See me,
Mm,
Alice Hom, MD, celebrity doc, chatters that matters. I'm here. I arrived. I made it. And all of my Black brothers and sisters can too. The
absolutely.
color of our skin doesn't stop us from being anything we want. Let your haters be your motivators. Look at Dr. Heavenly.
You'd
She's
be
on a
surprised.
major network here.
You'd be surprised how many people do not believe that as African Americans, it's been drummed into us. But the great thing about it is your mind can be reprogrammed. We've been
Yes,
programmed.
it can.
Way. We can reprogram your minds if you just open your minds up to listen. You know, we ain't gonna be able to save the world, but we could try to save a lot of them. It's gonna be a great wealth transfer, guys, and y'all got to tune in. And there's no excuse now because the world is at your fingertips. When you got that computer there, you cannot just
Mhm.
determine and say, "Hey, this is all it is for me." When you're seeing everything else on the computer, so I
That's
just
right.
when people say, and you know, it's been some great people that are very big influencers that have told me, Heavenly, if you came from the hood, that's all you know, and you think differently. They even called me mega because I said there's something better out there. You can get it. All you gotta do is go to work for it. Oh, you sound like mega. No, I'm not mega. I'm thinking that somebody, a little girl just like yourself, was told we could not do it, but we proved them differently, and we came from the hood. I
Mhm.
did.
Yep. I was an Air Force brat. I was an Air Force brat, so I've been dragged all around. But yeah, I mean, we can, but you're right. You said we just have to open our minds to it. And for the most part, as a community, we tend to be closed-minded, and we tend to be distrustful of each other, and we also tend to be crabs in a bucket. One makes it and we want to pull them down instead of elevating ourselves.
I'm gonna
When
tell
you run into a Dr. Heavenly, you need to step up to Dr. Heavenly and say, girl, how did you do it? Teach me.
and you know, I don't want to belabor the point, but honestly, I think that it's easier to be a slave. I think that people are just like, I know I'm wrong to say it, and I'm gonna say it on your. It's easier to be a slave. It's easier not to think. It's easier to go to work every day and not think for yourself and work for somebody else because they've been taught a system that we just don't have, and it's harder to go out there and become a doctor. It's harder to
Yeah.
come out and become an influencer. It's hard because you're so ridiculed. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
but something in me that I don't give a dang. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna help
Yes.
in because that's my calling. But yeah, it's easy to be a slave. A lot of people are just lazy. It's not because they don't want to do it or they can't do it.
Yeah.
They just do it.
Yeah, I call it being sheep. Everybody's being put to sleep and they're being sheep. And our guest for next week, Dr. Drexel Glasker, she's actually in studio with us, but we weren't able to bring her on today. But she's going to be here next week. And, she is carving new roads in the nursing area. She is a doctor. And she is a nurse, and so she's going to talk about mid-level practitioners and all. But again, she has been facing the beat down and the put down and all of that. And no matter what we're doing, we have a tendency to want to put each other down, and that has to stop. If we have an accomplishment, it doesn't matter what that accomplishment is. We all need to be standing up and applauding that accomplishment and saying, how do I push myself to the next level? Not, well, she thinks she's all that because she's doing X, Y, and Z. Well, let her be all that. She should be all that, and let her be your motivator to be something more than what you are. And it doesn't matter where we are. I mean, I know for myself, I'm always reaching, and I'm sure Dr. Heavenly, I mean, you're all over national television. People can look at you internationally and everything, but I'm sure that you want more, that you want to grow, you want to fulfill your purpose.
And it ain't even about the money. It's about the journey, darling. I done did
That
that part.
part.
It's
Hmm.
over. I'm married. I got everything I ever wanted in the world. But it's
Hmm.
about helping others. And if you follow me or follow God, and I'm just a vessel to get y'all
Hmm.
to the level. And I'm using my position, the little bit that I have, to bring people and get that knowledge to them. That's my calling. And I'm going to do it.
Yes, exactly,
And I
exactly. And I mean, it really is that part. It is about purpose. It is about journey, and it is about give back. Part of that growth as we rise, they say it's lonely at the top. It doesn't have to be lonely at the top. We can make a choice for it to be lonely. If you want to be the only queen bee, you can be that, and it will be lonely at the top. But why not reach back and pull up other queens and kings? Why not reach out and create bigger and bigger kingdoms?
Oh, they on too now, doctor. We can't pull them, and they ain't trying to be pulled. Now we
That's
can't.
right.
They
That's
gotta have
right.
their foot down and try to pull themselves up too while we pulling now. Now
Yes.
I want to hear,
Especially the youth, yeah, it's a crappy world that we have brought you
but
to,
the ones
but
that
you
want,
can change it.
but the ones that want it, not everybody wants it, but the ones that want it, I'm doing everything I can to
Yes.
help. I really
Yes.
am. And here at Medical College, lifting as we climb, we serve the underserved, and we will continue to do so. But
Yes.
we want to get to a next level too, and we want to show our kids that we can get to those highly specialized areas as
Yes.
well, and that you can have it all. You don't have to just be the doctor. You can be the wife, you can be the mother, you can be the entrepreneur. Maybe not all at the same time, but you have the opportunity to have everything in this life God has called us to do. That's
And
all.
that's an excellent point that you bring. Let's talk about that. Uh, People say we want it all, and there is this fantasy that we can have it all at the same time. The human being cannot multitask and do everything equally well. You can't have everything at the same time. So you may have to prioritize what you're having at any given time. So we have to plan too. We have to think about what we're doing. We can't go willy-nilly through life and just let things happen to us and think it's going to be all good. Nobody owes us anything.
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Not even your mom. After you're 21, I don't owe you
Thank you
nothing.
very much.
I, I, but the thing about it is, yeah, it's a great life. It's a great world out there. You just got to go out there and get it. And you can't be afraid to speak up when you see something going wrong. And you
Yeah,
can't be afraid to help people. But you can't help the people that don't want to be helped now, doctor. And I don't try to
this
do
is
that
true.
for you. But I'm going to stay on the positive level. Get the people that want to be helped and help them, because it's enough of them.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And if you are, if you're trying to drag up people that don't want to be helped, they're like emotional sponges. They are energy sponges. They will suck you dry. But if you find that one who wants to be helped and you invest in that one that wants to be helped, it doesn't take anything from you because the rewards you receive back from watching that person grow and blossom are just much more than what you put into them.
Absolutely.
So, I
But
mean,
I got one
it's
question for you, Cheryl. I
yes,
got one question for you, Dr. Cheryl.
yes,
Listen,
ma'am.
you have a very strong type A personality, right? And I love it. I think it's beautiful. But when you deal with people that don't have that personality, that are not doctors, don't you sometimes get that people think you stuck up or something, and you're not even trying to be, you're just trying to help them? How do you get over to people that are looking from the outside and not hearing the words, but looking at what you have and automatically becoming intimidated by you? How do you change that?
I think it is tough for me because I came from a military background and I have a lot of exposures. And I grew up out of country. And when I came over here, Lord, in our community, I was catching it because the first thing they would attack is how you speak. Oh, you're uppity. You
No
think you're all
tone.
that. Yes, yes. Yes, and, Black people don't speak like that. I was skiing. "Oh, Black people don't ski. Black people don't do this. Black people don't do that," and I'm like, last I checked, I'm a Black people and I do it all." And I think that we have to stop limiting ourselves. So what I do, um I don't think most people who know me would say that I'm stuck up. Most people who know me say, "Dang, she is super down to earth." But when you walk into the room, if you have MD behind your name, they already put you in a box and frame out who you are. And that gets in the way of them trying to know you as a person because they already put up the attitude. Oh, she thinks she's all that and she thinks that she's better. I usually just meet them straight on. And I see you. I look for their positive attributes. I look for how I can connect to them because, regardless of where we come from in life, we're all far more similar than we are different. And so they have had an experience that you too have had. You can connect with them on that experience. And if they come at you with attitude, and this is somewhere, we have a tendency to go there. Someone that comes at us with attitude, we come back with snapback. Oh, really?
It's hard not
So if they come at you with attitude, give them a smile. Find something authentic that you can say. Don't blow
sure.
smoke up their behind. Find something authentic you can say. Dr. Heavenly, I do love your hair, girl.
That sounds good, Doc, but I don't think that's what you do. I really don't.
That is
But
what I do. That is what I do. That is me.
okay.
And it's like, for me, again, it doesn't matter where they are or what they're doing. If they're coming at me with anger and attitude, I know that's not me. That's something in them that
Right.
is going on. That's a pain in them. And, the healer in me wants to fix the world. So I look at that pain point and I say to myself, how can I make this person feel better? And for me, it's just, I have
Don't you
difficulty with the
don't you get sick of that sometimes? Like people just automatically assuming you something that you're not,
I
and you can't.
do. I do. And I get sick of people being angry with me about what I've achieved. I worked for everything that I've achieved. Nobody gave me diddly squat. I worked for all of that. And you can too. So don't be angry at me for what I have because you don't have. The fact that you don't have means that you haven't
Yeah,
capitalized
some
on
people
your opportunities. And everyone, they're quick to say, oh, well, you had all of these opportunities. No, I made most of my opportunities. I saw a crack and I stuck my foot in, dug it out, I hung by a fingernail and climbed whatever it took. And that for us, it has to be whatever it takes to get there. Because I know your walk wasn't easy. It was whatever it took to get there.
no, it's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy. But you know what? When I get the negative, honestly, if I'm not on reality TV, because if I'm in the negative on reality TV, I'm going to respond. But if
Yeah.
I honestly try to remove myself from the situation, honestly, I mean, I just don't. At this time, I don't have the wherewithal to take the negative energy. If you're not getting what I'm giving, I'm moving on. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm going to charge you for it to get the fluff out the room.
Thank
You know
you
what I'm
very
saying?
much. Thank you very much. Now let's talk about that. Let's
Okay.
talk about that because that's one of those points where folks will throw shade.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
she thinks she's all that and she's charging all that money to get what she has. Well, what about us that can't afford it? If you want it, you will find a way.
Job. I keep saying J-O-B. These people don't want to work. I got a beauty supply store right now. I'm paying $15, $17 an hour. They don't want to come to work. They don't want to start at the levels because it's levels to this. I started
Yes.
from ground zero McDonald's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we were
Burger King.
but I'm not better than you either, but you dang sure ain't better than me. So if I can do it and I work for it, why should I give it to you? You need to
That
work for
part.
it. You'll appreciate it more. You're
That
not going to
part.
appreciate it if I give it to you. Just
Yeah.
like these kids, they don't appreciate it because you're just giving it to them. But if they work for it, when you get stuff quick, it builds ego. When you get it slow, and it builds character. And now you understand
And
why
it
you
builds strength. Strength.
character. Absolutely. You
Mhm.
got it. But you understand, Cheryl, we outnumbered and the world is not going to agree with us. We get it. We did. But the world is kicking our tails up when we say things like this. I swear to Jesus, they are. So it
Yeah.
is what it is.
And you know what?
I
I have to say what I have to say.
Absolutely.
I have to be me, and I want to see my people thrive, but not just my people. I want to see the world thrive. I want to see the world grow. I want to heal the world, and that is going to take me having enough courage, enough guts to sometimes say the unpopular thing. The truth sometimes hurts. And in order to teach, sometimes it has to be painful in order for somebody to learn it. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with that.
Absolutely. And God has my calling, but I'm not called for everyone. I don't feel like I am.
This
And
is
the people
true.
that family will come and they'll understand it. We got testimonials. We're showing you that the Heavenly University is building millionaires. I mean, and we're taking information and just put it out there. I mean, I know a whole lot, but I've gotten my team together, people that you can't even talk to unless you have millions of
Team.
dollars. I'm bringing them to the table,
Team.
talk to you, to show you the secrets that they don't even want you to know. I told you the
Right.
Rockefeller and people like that get endowments to school to control the curriculum. So they
Right.
don't even know. So I'm giving it away. And you're going to tell me, you know what? I got to keep the fluff out the room and keep moving.
Yes, yes. Okay, so tell us about Dr. Heavenly University. What is Dr. Heavenly University? What does it do?
Was something that I started about 10, 11 years ago. I was training dentists on how to start and run a successful business. I ran 9 dental practices, multi-million-dollar corporations. I did it, right? So I was wondering, what is going on with dentists that some of them are not very successful, even though they have the sauce to be successful. And what I learned is like I said, we don't have the financial education. We don't know how to run a business. We know how to cut a prep, but they don't give us business skills. They don't teach us how to market. In fact, when I was in school, I don't know what they're doing now. They didn't teach us about the different insurance companies. And it's level. So I came in saying, hey, here's a problem. Let me fix it. But what I realized is that everybody needs the financial education, not just the dentists, which I was getting them CE credits, but the physicians, the attorneys, the entrepreneurs too. So I opened up the up for everybody. And to give you a 45 version, what we start is the mindset. We have activities to change your mind or reprogram your mind. Okay.
Let you know that it is okay to have money and to use that money.
Absolutely. We've been told that and we've been big down and I get it on social media all the time. But anywho, then we go into real estate and how to invest in real estate in all the avenues of money. We talk about Forex trading. We talk about crypto, where that is, because there's a place for that. We talk about insurance and using insurance policies to become your own bank. We talk about credit repair, everything you need in a one-stop shop to financial health. And then we talk about trust and protecting your assets as well. So, and then we bring in Dr. Jackie, which is probably the most important thing, Dr. Cheryl, is your health, because your health is your wealth. You don't got nothing if you don't eat right and exercise and take care of yourself. That's the true wealth there. But you need to get to that wealth because the food ain't cheap. You seen them eggs?
I don't know how much they were out in your part, but last week they were up to $10 here. So it was ugly.
Healthy. You need money to eat right. You need money to exercise. You need money to drink water. You know what I'm saying? The essential water ain't cheap. The faucet water with all those toxins and fluoride and all that stuff that has to, that's free. The Flint, Michigan water is free. But to get the money, that's all. So that's what Dr. Heavenly University is in a gist. It's a one-stop shop to financial freedom. It's financial education. And I start with a 5-day challenge. Well, I start with a free webinar. I give a webinar away for free. Then we do a 5-day challenge. Then we move you into my mastermind coaching where I have a whole curriculum set up, starting from mindset, going to healthcare, but we go into every aspect of money and explaining it with experts that they'll tell you about the loans, how to get the mortgage, how to buy down the interest rates, all those keys and more. But the keys that the 1% don't want us to have. I got it because I was in that group, but now I can bring it to other people. What's that rapper name that do like, what's his name? Rick Ross. He said, if you got the sauce, if you got some information, you need to share it with the masses. And that's what I'm trying to do. But I'm trying to keep the ignorant ninjas out of it by just charging you. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. I'm sorry.
Right. And people have to understand now, you heard her outline. It was a stepwise process. You don't get the whole pie in one sitting. Well, I paid her money, and so I should be able to walk out the door and do it all. And I should be her by the end of her class. No, this is an education, and you get it in pieces. And each piece that you get, you have to pay for. And why does she charge for it?
You got to apply it. I can't just give it to you.
Yes.
You got too, Boopy. I'm just giving you the path, the vessel to get to it, and the people to help you get there. But you got to apply it. You got to have the mindset. We're going to change that, and you got to do the work.
And why do you not give it away? This is crucial. Why do you not give it away?
Fluff out and the people that really want the knowledge, because I'm going to teach you how to get the money. You're going to make it back anyway, 100-fold. but I'm gonna keep charge you because I want to keep the fluff out and get the people that really want the knowledge, not the people that's gonna come in and complain. Because you know that you already know, God, there ain't nobody here. If you able body and able mind, you can do it. You can do it. And I'm telling you, I hate to sound harsh, but you can do it. You just got to change your mind because you're a victim of your circumstances. And anything you want to do, you can achieve if you believe you can. Look at Kanye West. I ain't getting into that, but look at Kanye West. He believed it. Like he said autistic. He's idiot savant. But
Yes.
you anything you believe you can, and you're a victim of your circumstances. You can do it, and you got to realize what your why is. Because if you get your why, your how will come to you. Because you're gonna figure out how to take care of these babies. You're gonna figure
Exactly. And I mean, we see it all the time. Dr. Dr. Glasker and I were just talking about that, yesterday. Children growing up and growing into themselves, and they're rolling around doing all kinds of crazy stuff while they're young until they get a reason. And for a lot of women, that reason becomes, I have children. Now I have to do better because I want my children to do well. I want my children to have. But we need to start before we have the children, because it needs to be a building process, an educational process. And we need to start with the children. Children can be educated. I mean, I had my first bank account as a child. I had my first credit cards and
but Cheryl, you're
everything.
not norm. I'm gonna just go and put that out there.
Well, yeah, because my daddy did it for me, and he came out of the house. People are like, "Oh, well, you were a silver spoon baby." Oh Lord, far from it. I was far from it. My daddy came up hard, but he saw the importance of the financial education, and he was self-taught. We have so many resources with this internet available to us, with people like you, with these courses and stuff available to us. Go and take Dr. Heavenly's course and drag your child with you. Educate them young.
Yeah, for sure. What kind of physician are you, may I ask?
I am integrative family medicine, and I'm a wellness manager, because I believe, as you spoke earlier about, we can't just treat disease. We have to change the lifestyle and focus on wellness. And, health is wealth. And if we focus on our wellness, especially if we start young, we don't have to spend time playing around with being sick or not even being fit, because if you invest in your health, you feel good, your mind is right. You can roll around and not invest, and you can get away with it for a long time. Our bodies, when we're young, are very forgiving, but that doesn't mean you're at your peak. And definitely when you have all that young energy and a youthful mind, why not be at your peak so you can be on that fast road to growth when you're at your optimum point in life for doing it?
I know this is completely off the subject, but I just got one more question for you, doctor.
Yes,
What is
ma'am.
about this vaccine? I know we already took it.
Ooh.
Because I felt like I do. But what do you feel like? I'm just
That's a sticky wicket there, right there, for a number of reasons. I've got a lot to say about this vaccine.
limiting you in your voice because you can't say what you want to say.
Yeah, well, I'm in the state of California, and in the state of California, if I say all the things that my mouth would like to spill out, I will literally lose my license.
Oh wow!
Literally. So, I'm gonna tread lightly on that one, but just the fact that I'm censoring my own voice tells you a lot.
Absolutely.
Well, and again, I am integrative medicine, and it's about lifestyle. Let your food be your medicine. You are what you eat. Take that to the bank. Dr. Sebi, Joel in LA, these people have knowledge, okay? And our people, don't let them tell you we don't know anything. We have history out of Africa that we brought with us. We didn't have fancy traditional medical schools, but our people were treating each other. And what were they using? They were using their foods, they were using their herbs, they were using their fitness. Hurricane is out of Morocco. And, we've talked on the show, we had Dr. Akmal on the show. He's a naturopath, and we got to talking about those beans and the lectins. And our people knew about the lectins. They didn't know what the names of the lectins were, but when they threw those beans in the pot, they were washing those beans to get rid of that lectin, soaked those beans to get rid of that lectin. When they threw that rice in the pot, they got rid of that starch, soaked that rice, poured the water off, boiled the rice, poured the water off, got rid of the starch. We were eating rice and didn't have all of the diabetes, because we knew that historically. We knew that we have a rich history, but we don't tap into it now because we have allowed them to convince us that we don't have knowledge.
Absolutely, doctor. And I thank you for your knowledge, baby. But we can't say everything we want to say, and that's saying a whole lot, isn't it?
There you go. There you go. Because ooh, I could say a lot. And
But
Hurricane, God bless him. He was like, okay, we're gonna have that show one day, but it's not now.
But if you're doing my
Oh no, we listen.
private platform, we can say what we want to on the Zoom.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, ladies, doctors, I mean, we've talked about some topics and we share some information. This is actually a private degree. I'm not censored the same way as other media, and we do some tough topics. And I mean, we try to be politically decent, but doesn't mean we're gonna like shut down and not be expressive, because I think that's important. The message, I mean, the platform is to educate, enlighten, and inspire and motivate. And if we
And
just
we do
shut
go
it
on
down,
sometimes.
it's not gonna
We
happen.
we do get those conversations going sometimes.
I think a difference in you and her. She got a license to lose. She knows she can't say certain things, and she
Well, let me tell you something.
cannot be stated. I'm just saying.
Yep.
I
Yeah, I've said
well,
things
here's the thing.
out there on Clubhouse though that they would slap me around for. But my take on it, in the history of the Black community, physicians have been instrumental in the build. And my take on that is, sure, I have a lot to lose by speaking out too aggressively on certain things. I have more to lose by not doing so,
Absolutely.
because I have a community to lift and grow. I'm only going to be on this earth for a certain number of years. And, the legacy that I leave is going to be what I put in. There are two purposes in life. One is to teach and one is to learn. And usually we're doing a little bit of both. If I can teach my people, they will move forward, they will rise up, and that leaves a little bit of me behind. So that's the best I can do is speak my truth. And I sometimes it gets me into trouble, but I do speak my truth. And so in this particular case, on that immunization, my lack of speech about it speaks loudly about how I feel about it.
Well, God is good, and I think He protects us in so many ways. And I thank God, just giving us the knowledge what to say and what not to say and when to say it, hopefully. But I think we're ultimately protected. I do love this platform, though, and I love what you guys are doing. And it's been amazing talking to you, Dr. Cheryl. I think you're a beautiful, amazing woman. And I want to just tell you, I am so proud of you, sister. I am so proud of what you're doing and what you put out there, because I already know it ain't easy. I know it. But I don't think you hear it all the time, that you are blessed to bless others. And God knows I am so proud of you, sister. And everybody should be as proud as I am to know you, Cheryl. And keep doing what you're doing, girl. Keep lifting, keep growing, keep uplifting, and keep your I know it's hard, it's not easy, but I appreciate all you do, and I thank you for this platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for being on the platform. We still have a little bit of time. If there, we'll kind of tie up your teaching points. If there were just a few things that you wanted to tell the audience, and particularly the young people that we're trying to lift up, but all of our audience, because it's never too late to learn. You can learn at 90, If there were one thing that you want to tell them, or a couple of things,
I
what would
think
be the key things that you would want them to know?
I think the most important thing that you want to know is with God you can accomplish anything.
Hey.
Family very important. That's the most
Amen.
important thing. Your family
Mhm.
and you have a family, you do need a few, not too many, good friends. But I think also the power of compound interest. If you understand the power
Mhm.
of compound interest, you can get to that total freedom early to get your time back. And I'm telling you, wealthy is when you can actually fit a few lifetimes in one because you don't have to do certain things to take care of certain things and you could just live the life of your dreams. So that's my thing is God, family, and everything else.
Now, just quickly, because again, we do have the time. We keep speaking on compound interest. There's somebody out there that has no clue what that means. So, can you explain to them what is compound interest? Keep it simple for them.
Absolutely. I can show you better than I can tell you, but if you
There you
pull
go.
out a compound, the calculator site.com and just key in some numbers, key in the percentage of interest that you're getting, and you're compounding it over and over, not at the end of the year, but weekly or monthly. If you take the amount of money, if, for example, for an easier term, if you have $1 million and you compounded it 10% a month, and that's a high number. Then you got 1,100,000. But next month you have 1,100,000 to compound on that, and your money grows exponentially. So when you get simple interest, that's not good. But if you can compound your money monthly, weekly, daily, and we get into forex trading and we get into
Mhm.
crypto and that kind of stuff, you can actually catch up. And the answer is not a 401k. It's just not. You losing money and they're making money off your money, but you're not. It's not a 529. It ain't even a cash savings plan. But if you can use your money and compound it over time, that your money will grow exponentially. Because in 5 years, if you can compound your money every year, 1 year is 1 million, the next year is 2 million, the next year is 4 million, the next year
Mhm.
is 8 million, the next year is 16 million. You get the drift, the power of compound interest, compounding money on top of money to get to your success quickly.
Absolutely. And this is not new knowledge.
It's
It's
not,
knowledge, it's knowledge that we traditionally don't have, but it is not new knowledge for the Black community because we had affluence. We had Black Wall Street. We had entire neighborhoods, communities of affluence that were compounding that interest, not just financially, but educationally. So, where we are now as a community, in terms of our financial and educational growth, we're kind of at a low because we have chosen to fall into this era.
yeah, we're taught to fall into it. We've been we've been dubbed. And when we go to school, we're taught that. We're not taught
Yes,
financial on purpose. And I told
yes,
you there's endowments out there to control the curriculum. That's
yes.
why what's his name? Dr. Dre. Dr.
Mhm.
Dre and he did a big endowment. I want to say it was $70 million with the University of Southern California, right?
Yeah,
Behind buildings, and now he can control the curriculum and put certain courses back into the
yes.
university. It's power, and with money comes power, and power to expel and elevate your community, your people. So you got to have some.
Yes. Yes, and I mean, one of the things that I'm really appreciating now, I mean, you look at Dr. Dre, you look at Snoop, you look at Master P, you look at Denzel Washington, you look at Obama, and these people have done it, and there are a number of them out there have done it, but now they're publicly coming forward and sharing the wealth, saying this can be done. And, the new buzzword that I'm loving is generational wealth. And we have to understand that. And we have to understand this compounding in order to get to that generational wealth. And it can't be just, I'm gonna get mine. No, we have to create the wealth so that our people for generations to come, our children, our grandchildren, our great great grandchildren, the foundation is laid for them to
Absolutely. By getting
succeed.
trust in place. Get the trust in place because these silly kids ain't gonna know what to do. At 25, they don't get nothing. 35, add the money out. So even after
That's
you're
right.
gone, the trust is in place that this money stays for generations. And educate your kids. You
Yeah.
Have estate planning every year on what you're going to purchase and stop this negative. I've been guilty of it. Buying bad debt. Use your money for good
Yes.
debt. Don't got
Yes.
time. Don't got
Yes.
time. And in 10 years' time, you can catapult your life and live the life of your dreams. That's what Dr. Heavenly University is, darling.
There you go, girl. There you go. Now, who was your person that led you to want all this, to know that you could do it? To who was your push? Who was your motivator, and who was your idol?
I don't know if you watch Married to Medicine, but on certain episodes, they explain my life and what I'm going on. It was my mother. My mother told me I was smart, so I believed her. My mother told me I could do things, so I believed her. If she'd have told me I couldn't, I would have believed that too. So when
Okay.
she told me I was smart, I did things that smart people do. My mama didn't know no better. She died at 89 years old. She was born in 1932. She said, Heavenly, you're going to be a doctor. You know why she chose doctor? Because she thought that that was the ultimate success. Now, it's great, but back then that was all we knew. So
Yeah.
when she told me I was a doctor, I was drummed in my head from out. I was 5 years old. My mama told me I was going to be a doctor. So when I went to school, what did I do? Pre-med. I just found dentistry is a better way to keep a lifestyle than
Yeah.
going your call and stuff like that. But my mama told me I could do it. And when she told me, I believed her. So that's when my generational stuff. And then I got the education on the way because I grew up in a room with no windows. When they showed it on Married to Medicine, I didn't even think that was wrong. I was like, why y'all making a big deal? They would say, oh, that's why she acts the way that she does. She don't. I feel like if I've been through this, the things that I say ain't nothing. But
Right.
they made a big deal about a room with no windows. I knew no. Do what you think is right. My
Right.
mom said that she used to walk for miles to take us to the bus stop, right? To get on the bus to go to school, and then she walked to the cleaners to get a job. She didn't think it was bad because that's all she knew. So what I'm saying is you're a product of your environment. Your mind is limited because you allow it to be and you don't know any better. But my mama knew enough to tell me that I could be or do anything, and I believed her. That's it.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
And that is important for us as parents to
that now,
instill that belief.
I don't know if they listening, but I tell my babies that too.
Yes, yes, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are listening, and I'm sure that you will see as the output all of the input that you put in, and they'll do something amazing and fabulous, and that they'll do something that is
But even
iconically them.
that trust in place that they can't touch nothing unless I say even and when I'm gone.
And that's, you know what, and that's a really reasonable thing to do because you figure it takes a while to grow up. It takes a while to be responsible, even for
Men
someone who's
are longer than
very
women. It
grounded,
takes
you know.
men a lot
It
longer.
takes men a lot longer. And you know, we're not throwing stones at the men. That
Yes,
is a physiological fact because the male mind is supposedly not fully developed until 25 or 26, and a
we
lot of them
got,
it actually takes longer.
we got a man on here. We got a man. So look
Well,
at
I, listen, I'm not offended, ladies. I mean, trust me, I'm listening. By the way, I'm not so much because you guys saying everything, and I love it. Go ahead, go ahead.
yeah. So that, I mean, that really is fact. It does take the male mind longer to mature. So we would be idiots to throw a bunch of money at an 18-year-old and think that they're going to manage it well without help. They don't know any better. Even if they've been educated, they don't know any better at 18, you know?
let's go a step further, doctor, and say that even after 25, the men need a woman in their life because they're not going to amount to too much without a woman. Listen, we are
Hello.
their mate, but without a woman, a man cannot go to the level of success that God chose him to go to. Ask Michelle Obama.
I'm gonna
Let's
ask Hurricane. I'm
about
gonna ask Hurricane. You're here on the platform, Hurricane. Give us a man's opinion on that.
it. Okay. He's smart. He ain't
Well,
gonna say
I have to say a couple of things. One, I mean, women do mature early on than men. That's fact. And then also, they're behind every successful, I guess, man. There's a real good woman, and vice versa. My wife supports me all day. My mom was actually my driver and my really motivator. So kudos to all the mommies out there and doing what they have to do. I love my dad, but my mom was the stronger of the two, and she was the one behind my personal journey. My wife's there behind me every step of the way. So again, thank you. And you know what? I love that. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we are partners in life, and a true man will take that for what it's worth, and that's all there is. I mean, that's my opinion.
baby.
There you go. There you
But it
go.
times a long time to realize that even my husband, I've been with my husband 29 years, we've been married 25. He says to me, how do you know things? I wish I would have started listening to you earlier. We have a power discernment that's given to us by God, and we're supposed to be the helpmate. Now, Doc ain't gonna agree with this. We're not meant to be the leaders. We're meant to be the helpmate, meaning the neck and not the head. Allow the man to lead, but we have to show them the way from the background. And Doc gonna cuss me out, but that's okay, because that's
Not me. Not me.
that's what
Uh,
the man still needs to be the head of the household. He still does. And it works out better because the men have a whole
but
lot. Don't allow him to be the man, the marriage ain't gonna work. So
yeah,
you might
but that being said, as women, we want you to lead. Don't come in there and act silly and think you're going to beat your chest and say, I'm the man, and not pick up your responsibility and not lead. We want you to lead. We want you to be that strong lead so that we can be the woman.
very well said, doctor.
So there it is. Now, this is Black History Month.
So are we on here an hour? How long is the show?
we're on here as long as your
we're
conversation
we're,
is perfect. But let's close
we're
this
about
out.
right. We're about right time.
Yeah, well, let's close this out with this is Black History Month. So can you give me one Black historical figure that you particularly cleave to and respect, have been motivated by, and would like in some way to resemble?
It's so many, honestly. I love Maya Angelou and everything that
Mhm.
she stands for. But honestly, somebody that's more relatable, I would say Michelle, because I think that Michelle can right now run for president. She has an image and a certain education, but not only that, an ambiance of
Yes.
successful Black woman that I would look up to. Now, I don't know, but I do know that Barack would not, and he's smart enough, just like this gentleman here, to admit it that I could not have done these things without Michelle at my side. Michelle
Absolutely.
is the Black American that I would like to emulate out of all of them. Yes, that I know that I've seen myself
Yeah.
in Michelle Obama.
I'd vote for Michelle.
Yeah,
I'd
me,
vote for Michelle.
I would. Even the white folk would vote for Michelle.
Yes, yes, yes. Hurricane, who's yours?
To say who Hurricane?
In terms of whether who is what my
Your
motivator.
historical figure.
I never thought about that actually. That's an interesting one. See, so you put me on the spot. I got a thing. I was literally thinking about just the support on Obama here and Michelle. I will go for Michelle if she actually goes for it. But so historical. I mean,
Good, just right now.
there's plenty. I mean,
That's
say that
it.
again.
That's the thing. There are so many. It's actually hard because I was thinking, well, who's mine? And I'm like, I can run through just a bunch for all kinds
Yeah.
of reasons.
Well, I mean,
That we don't know about. It's so many that we don't even know about that we don't hear all the time. And I know one Instagram follower, they put different people that you've never heard about and what
Yeah.
they've done, like history. And it's like, man, oh man, look at
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm gonna jump on, and I can't think of what his name is. I just lost his name. But you said it earlier. We have this internet now. There's no reason for us not to grow and have all the knowledge. But did you know the reason that we have this internet is because of the intelligence of a Black man?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, so much of what's out there that, people don't know their names or their stories, but they are our history because they created the tools that we use that have modernized this world. We are strongly the creators.
No, it's been taken out of our curriculum to know, and it's been misconstrued so we
Yes.
can believe a certain thing about ourselves. But having that said, that y'all, I got to go, boopies. I got something.
Okay, well, we love you, girl, and We
And if you look at Dr. Heavenly, you could go to drheavenly.com. If you're interested in Dr. Heavenly University, it's just that, drheavenlyuniversity.com. Make stuff simple, guys. That's a part of our marketing plan. Make it simple. If you want a dental office, call it Smiles by Dr. Heavenly. Keep it simple. If you got your internet and it's HCAMS 167857, we're not going to remember that, okay?
right.
So find drheavenly.com. That's it. Y'all
All
have a
right.
great day.
Thank you so much. We have loved having
Doctor, it was
you
an
here.
honor.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Here. Thank you, doctor. I'll see y'all later.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Heavenly. So,
Yeah.
she said a mouthful.
And I have to say, I was literally, just absorbing. It was so much good stuff. There's no reason for me to say anything. I mean, to be honest with you, you know me, I like to talk, but sometimes you just gotta listen. I think we have to absorb that and her success story and her work. She's passionate about it. I have to say, I mean, I was like, it is really a crash course in an hour. I think anybody that watched right now with us live or would watch this. I mean, there were a few disruptions, I think, on the I guess the reception. So there were a few times
Right.
where it got distorted. But overall, I mean, I got most of it, and I have to say, it's impressive the stuff that she talked about, and the reality of it is real. I mean, you guys both covered it well, from the victim mentality, from where we are as a society, from the community, and the lack of I guess ambition sometimes based on all the influence that's behind it. And then also you guys covered it nicely where it was clear about the envy concept, where for example you look at someone who's already there, and that's actually across the board. People think that because you're there, they're not, they want to be in a quick fast pace to actually get whatever they want, but then they don't realize the journey that you had to go through and the success, right? Which is, again, we always refer to that iceberg tip of the iceberg and everything behind it, or the mountain. The problem is that that's the problem. People looking at you today, they don't look at your steps behind and your history and how long it took you to get to where you are today. And then when you give them that advice, like, hey, well, you're doing this, you're driving this, you got this lifestyle. Why are you saying we can't do it? Well, you can, but are you willing to take what? Do you have what it takes to get there? That's the problem. Not everybody has what it takes, and it's a mindset. It's a lot of things. You have to get rid of your, I guess preconceived, notions of how it should be, and learn from the best. And yes, she talked about all the financial aspects of business and things that we don't use. And again, the system is kind of rigged. It is a
Yes.
fact. Whether we like
Yes.
it or not, that's how it is. The education does not give you that backdrop, doesn't give you the real live techniques and things that you need to apply to actually succeed early on. It is a society where we all are supposed to work for someone, and that's the other thing. So the few and I guess the brave that make it to the next level where they actually lead, are always portrayed or looked at differently in a different light. And so sometimes they're well respected, and people look at them, and look up to them. And there are people that, like, they're full of themselves and they got that pride, blah blah blah. As a matter of fact, the higher you are, and if you are good, and you're really, and you understand what you went through, you will never be that arrogant. I mean, arrogance obviously can be a problem, but you have to remove that from your vocabulary and even your demeanor. And so that's the thing. I mean, listen, I mean, the show was, I think, it was terrific. I mean, again, first of all, it's an honor to have her with us. I mean, that's one. Two, I think, Doctor, you had some serious good questions out there, and like I said, if I had interjected, it would just derail the whole, energy there in the pace. I have to say it was just, perfectly paced, and she's high energy, and obviously she's determined to drop in, her main focused items. And yes, listen, she is, I think, as clear as possible and as real as possible about the reality of things. You got to do what you got to do. Stop blaming the world, and say that I'm not me or my color. And yes, listen, those are real facts, and they have a real things to them historically. But can we make a difference? Yes. I mean, she mentioned a few, good names that are like powerful names, and some of them
Mhm.
are in the art, artists in Hollywood. I mean, politics, like Michelle. People have arrived. You have arrived. She has arrived. There's plenty. If one is able to do it, you know, we cannot say that we can't do it, or they have a special occasion. Maybe if one alone, maybe we say that's an isolated scenario, but not if everybody. There's plenty of people. There's plenty of examples out there. We've had so many guests on the show that are all been, top notch at whatever they do, and they're all
Absolutely.
top of the top, right? So if they're doing it, we have the ability to do it. The question is, do we blame the world for our misery and where we are? Not listen. You mentioned something. I was born in Morocco. I mean, not the wrong with the country, but I chose to move. And a lot of people at the time when I was a kid, there's like, well, you're gonna leave your family, you're gonna leave your nation, your people. I didn't leave my nation, my culture. I still live there in my culture, and I still enjoy that. I still visit, but I live for an opportunity, for a dream, and
Mhm.
that's the thing. So you can move. When I came to New York, I had nothing. I didn't know anyone. Literally, I mean, I had a bag, $500. I'm in New York City trying to figure out myself. That's 30 years ago, but it didn't take more than a couple of years for me to make a dent and find my industry and get through. And I'm not, this is not about me, but there's plenty of examples of success stories that started from zero,
It
from
is
nothing.
about you. It is about you, and it's about everyone like you and about everyone like me because we are just who we are, and we're everyone. Everyone has that opportunity. We
Well,
have to seize the opportunity. It's not going to be given to us for the most part. I mean, some folk might get lucky like that, but the majority of us are not going to just have the opportunities land in our laps. We create our fortune.
well, doctor, you have to have will, you have to have belief, right? And you have to be determined and have the ambition. I mean, these are all key words that if you lack some of these, you might not be able to do. And then there's the other thing, you know, we don't want to, be jealous of people. We want to envy them and do like what they did. Like, hey, what did you do? Let me learn from you. What was your path? Now, some people may hold some information. You said it best. You are here to learn and to teach. Well, seek the ones that are willing to teach. We are teaching, we are educating, we are sharing value. Maybe someone else may not be, but there's plenty of people just like us doing shows and
And,
doing
and
programs,
even that
blogs.
teaches. And even that teaches. If someone is withholding the energy, they're withholding their own power because they have the power to be more by sharing, and that is teaching us. If we didn't like it when someone didn't share, then that teaches us to be more giving.
Well, and or find another one that's willing to share, right? It's never one thing, right? And that's the other thing, not one source. You have a diverse. I mean, I think Doctor mentioned Google, right? I mean, there's plenty
Google,
out there. I
my
mean,
best friend.
it's funny when we had a show with Doctor Heim about the psychiatry show that we have like once a month, and one time one question came up about like the arguments. People argue all the time, and he said, "Here's a solution, things that are available in the world, you don't have to argue about. If you're not sure, instead of like your opinion, my opinion, just Google it, find out, and that's it. Move on. So there is a resource that can actually solve some problems. You know what? Use it. There is formal education and there's informal education, or at least knowledge. Everybody can be super knowledgeable. Yeah, you may
Yes,
not have a degree to attach to that knowledge, but if you're so knowledgeable, you can defeat any degree. You know, if you can become entrepreneurial and you don't even need to work for someone. And that's the other thing. Many people don't have the drive to work for someone. They create their own opportunities. We had Gloria last time, right? As our last guest. They didn't want to publish her. She did publish her own. That's the thing. You don't wait, for opportunity to knock. You create the opportunity. That's the problem. Many people are just coasting by. They're comfortable. They'd rather just work and just do that 9 to 5 thing, whatever, and just be on the routine, but then always complain about my life sucks. By the way, this is not a judgment, folks, if you're watching and listening. This is just our reality. We have the tendency to just kind of work because that's what we are trained to do from day one. I remember when I was a kid, the first thing, oh, you want to go to school, you want to get a degree, so you're going to get a high job. And why? Then I asked the question, like, what was the point? Like, you want to get a master's degree. What's the point? You want to get a doctorate. What's the point? Is it really to educate, or is it really because you want to have a higher position so you can make more money? Well, so that if that's the answer, well, there's other ways that can make you money, in a different format by learning different skills, and you can be literally good with your hands. You can be creative. You can inventor. You can do many things. Doesn't mean, again, not against education and the level of it. You can do that. That's actually, you need to, because it gives you different skills. But that shouldn't be the only way for you to learn.
And I'm going to interrupt you there because we've gotten our 10-minute warning, and we actually
Okay, all right.
we do have guests in the studio today. So, as kind of our parting salvo, I would like to open it up and ask our guests if they have any questions. Do you have any questions or anything you'd like to add? Okay.
She's gone.
Yeah. She said she was just wondering how Dr. Heavenly came to be, but she's gone. And we actually did ask her that question, and she was very pointed about saying, go to the website. So she was directing you to the website to expose you to the show, and the show is Married with Medicine, and that was Dr. Heavenly Kimes. Also in our studio today, we have Dr. Drexler Glasker, and Dr. Drexler will be joining us next week, and we have the fabulous Ricky Aaron. Uh, Yay, Ricky! And
Whoop, whoop.
so, so we do have a studio audience today. Um, I am just really really excited with this show, and I'm glad that all of you have come out to join us. We will be doing the live shows from here on out, so certainly do stay tuned. If you happen to be out there and you missed the live, then we are all over all of the platforms. You can go to YouTube, definitely go to EMBC TV network. It will give you our scheduling. Again, Hurricane, throw out some of the platforms where they can see us.
Yes, actually, right now we've been live on Twitch, on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and it's all on the podcast. It will be on the radio, the iHealth Radio platform, which you can download and just listen to all the shows. It's also, again, to, as you said, www.thembctvnetwork.com or www.ihealthradiousa.com. So it's pretty much Vimeo. Stream TV. I mean, if it's visual, Roku TV, you can watch it on TV if you have that. So there's
And the
plenty of
visuals
places you
going
can
across
actually
the
catch.
little banner on the bottom. You get that nice little banner that's giving you some of this information too.
Yeah.
So,
So again, I mean, there's no way you're gonna miss this. So please do check it out and just download the show, listen to it. There's plenty of good stuff here.
and when you're there, give us a like, give us a share, tell your friends, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting us. You have been listening to Chatters That Matters. Let's talk about it. I'm your show host, Dr. Cheryl Bryant Bruce, MD, the celebrity doc, and I am here with my co-host, the fabulous Hikam Elamati, Hurricane H. Chatters That Matters. Let's talk about it.
Bye for now.